Hey, welcome to CGS Biblecast. I'm so glad that you joined me today on here. Let's talk about running. Any runners out there? I got to tell you the truth right now. I am not a runner at all. I have never been a runner. I've never been able to do it. I've always been the worst runner. If you're on a sports team, I'm the one that's running last in the group. I'm not. In fact, I ran the other day like 20 feet. I paid for it severely. I'm just not a runner. I don't enjoy it. But if you are, maybe you're a marathon runner, do something crazy like that, you know that when you're running a race like this, there's a multitude of emotions during a race. Feelings of excitement at the beginning and exhilaration at the end, as most competitors also endure fatigue, pain, discomfort, and temptation to quit. When you finish, it feels, well, I wouldn't know, but I assume it'd feel really great. As the mile markers hit double digits and continue to climb, however, hope sets in because the end is drawing near with the promise of cheers, a reward, a sense of accomplishment, and the treasured moment to sit and relax because you finished. You finished the race and you did it. Did good. The Israelites we'll be in here in Zephaniah today, the Israelites had fallen into sin and we're now dealing with the consequences of God's judgment. But those who placed their faith in God always had a reason for hope. Despite the foreign oppression that they faced and the shame of exile, of being forced into adapt to a completely different culture and customs, they trusted God's promise of future restoration and hope. Like I said, we're in Zephaniah today. It's an interesting book of prophecy, and really it's about the Lord's judgment. Judgment is such a huge message in these prophets and really throughout the Old Testament because these were oppressed people. They had a tough go. You know, their lands were being taken over time and time and time again. They were living in foreign lands. There was just so much that was bad, and they needed hope. And so judgment was so powerful and freeing for us. We're not as oppressed. We think of judgment. We think of, man, I hope we're not the ones being judged and on the other end of that. But it was obvious who was at this point. It was going to be their enemies, and it was not hard to define who their enemies were. So the promise of justice, the promise of things being made right in the end was important. Let's read it. Chapter 3, verse 19, and I will deal severely with those who have oppressed you. I will save the weak and helpless ones. I will bring together those who were chased away. I will give glory and fame to my former exiles whenever they have been mocked and shamed. On that day, I will gather you together and bring you home again. I will give you a good name and a good distinction among all the nations in the world. As I restore your fortunes before your very eyes, I, the Lord, have spoken. So the Lord's saying there's going to be justice here. I have not abandoned you. Things are bad, not good, but there's hope. As Christ followers, God never promised us complete comfort or trouble-free existence on earth. As we run this marathon called life, we'll inevitably struggle at different legs of the race. But through Christ, we have a future hope of heaven. When we cross the finish line, we will meet our Savior face to face as we gather with other believers in a home like no other. An absolute paradise. And doesn't that give you goosebumps just to think about the joy we will experience at that time when we cross the finish line and live forever with Him? I look forward to it, and I hope you are today, knowing that there is a hope of a better time ahead. Have a wonderful day. Bye.